Saeed became a believer in 2000. Soon after that, he started house churches, underground churches. He was arrested by the intelligence police, and he was told as long as he discontinued any house church movement, that they would allow him to freely move back and forth into Iran, see his family, his parents, his siblings. One of the intelligence police even suggested, why don't you do humanitarian efforts? So when he came back in 2009, we were praying, and we both had a huge heart for the orphans. The government actually gave us approval. Between 2009 and 2012, Saeed traveled into Iran more than 9 times. He followed all the guidelines he was given by the government. Unfortunately, he was stopped. His passport was taken as he was leaving to come back to the US. He was under house arrest for 2 months, from July to September, and in September of 2012, the house was raided, his parents' house that he was staying at in Iran, and he was taken by Revolutionary Guards. I got in touch with the State Department immediately. It was the hardest phone call of my life because I expected something, and they said, there's nothing we can do.
Saeed had traveled back and forth to Iran several times since 2009, and this was the first instance where before he left, he said, Naghmeh, should anything happen to me, I want you to reach out to this news reporter who he had connected to via Facebook. She'll know what to do. Lisa Daftari, who's been great on Saeed's case, called my cell phone and said, Tiffany, I don't know who else to give this client to except for the ACLJ. Would you be willing to talk to her?
So I immediately called and said, this is what's happened. We don't know where he is.
We're on the phone with Naghmeh Abedini, his wife, here in the United States. We started working on his situation within 24 hours of his arrest. By the time Saeed was returned home and put under house arrest, we represented Saeed internationally.
From that moment, of course, it's a highly intense situation. We step in both as advocates, somebody who can step in, removed from the emotion, to be able to provide objectivity to what is a situation that's very hard to have clarity in when it's one of your family members who's been taken or missing. It was also her Christian counselor who sat and prayed with her through a very difficult time.
I don't know if people realize how crucial ACLJ was in our life. I believe it was God's provision that ACLJ had already dealt with legal issues in Iran. They already knew a lot of the legal system, were very familiar with the Iranian system, the court.
Saeed Abedini's case was not the first case, not the first apostasy case, not the first death penalty case we handled. We handled the case for another Iranian, Youcef Nadarkani.
Pastor Youcef Nadarkani was is an Iranian Christian pastor, and he was in prison because of his work as a Christian, the house churches that these Christians are involved in. And it's questionable, even under Iranian law, if that's even illegal. There are a number of Christians imprisoned in Iran only because of their faith. They came to us because he was in a dire situation. They're not attorneys, so this smaller ministry said, can you help? Can you do something? He's on death row. He's been given a death sentence, so not just a prison sentence, but a death sentence. Is there anything you can do? And so we launched an international campaign.
A Christian pastor in Iran imprisoned for nearly 3 years, facing a death sentence because of his Christian faith. July 8, 2012 marked the 1,000th day of captivity for Christian pastor Youcef Nadarkani, facing execution for simply becoming a Christian. When Iranian officials demanded that he recant his faith in Jesus Christ or die, he responded with 2 words: I cannot. It is vital to keep Pastor Youcef in the spotlight and the pressure on Iran. At the American Center for Law and Justice, we are doing all that we can in this country and abroad to secure his freedom. Our Tweet for Youcef campaign reaches more than 2.2 million Twitter accounts daily, spanning the globe, connecting 200 countries around the world, calling attention to the plight of Pastor Youcef. We also know the importance of the power of prayer, and so does Pastor Youcef. In a letter he released from prison not long ago, he specifically thanked everyone who has, quote, asked for my release or campaigns and human rights activities which are going on against the charges which are applied to me, end quote. He also had one simple request: pray for me, he wrote. Please continue to pray for Pastor Youcef and all those who face persecution because of their Christian faith.
When the regime gets more radical, as it was under Pastor Youcef Nadarkani when he was in prison, they not only put him in jail, or in prison. But they sentenced him to death, and they charged him with also being an apostate. That means someone who left Islam. So he was a Muslim and he converted to Christianity. In his trial, his death penalty trial, this is how much it is about religion and nothing else, and about faith and nothing else. They gave him 3 opportunities to renounce his faith, and he would have walked out. So not only would he have not faced the death penalty, he would have walked out of prison. And the court case would have been over if he would have just said, I don't believe in Christ, I'm now a Muslim, gone through the Muslim prayer, and that would be it.